Hi everyone, we're the Strong Chatty Chicks and we chat about things related to women's health and fitness. Nothing is off the table, and if it matters to you, then it matters to us. My name is Paula Headley and I have 20 years experience as a medical scientist and I'm a public health expert.
I am Yvonne Alonso. I am a personal trainer of 17 years and a plant-based nutritionist.
This is episode 1 of Strong Chatty Chicks, and we would like to introduce to you who we are and our mission to discuss women's health and fitness issues that really matter to you at home and certainly that really matter to us.
I'm Yvonne. I am the personal trainer here, and specifically I am Paula's personal trainer for now 8 years.
Yeah.
And that is basically how this whole thing started. The shenanigans started in the gym, and it started with Paula trying to stall in between sets.
Every time.
And then telling me about all these cool things that she had read about, sharing her scientific perspective on certain things that I'm also personally interested in, whether it's about female health or fitness.
Yeah.
And we just get along very well. We have great chemistry together. And so our conversations were just so good. I felt like I got a lot out of them. I remember us talking about these conversations could be very beneficial to other women if they could like listen in.
Yeah, exactly. I think you were the one who brought up the idea of doing this as a podcast. But I think like the really fun thing about this is obviously I was trying to like distract you from starting a new set.
I saw you.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, for sure, my motives were not all that pure. But like the stuff that we were talking about really did matter. And like in my case, obviously we were talking about stuff that I had learned either through my readings as a medical scientist or otherwise as a student of public health. But they really mattered not just to me and you, but also to some of the other people that you work with and you train, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't just distracting from the next set. Like I wasn't just trying to extend my rest period, although that was the primary objective. But it was really about kind of, oh my God, like how are women treated by the medical system in a way that's not always best for them, and that they don't necessarily always know what's best for them themselves, right? We each have our own kind of personal stories about that.
Because as you were going through your own struggles,
yeah,
I guess you were also seeking answers and information. And then every time we would come to the sessions with whatever pain or difficulty that you were going through, we would talk through it.
Yeah.
And you would share what you had discovered. And then we would start this trial and error process of how to get you through your sessions successfully.
Which we're still doing, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, I mean, we've kind of literally just been talking about kind of this advice that women get as they get older or frailer to do yoga almost exclusively. Mm-hmm. And this is something that we are working on, is to try and find a way that I can continue to do the workouts that I enjoy, that are, you know, kind of good for my body, good for developing strength and kind of building my endurance in a way that I enjoy doing, as opposed to just not going to the gym and switching to yoga and light walks, which I think is really awful advice.
It's not because there's any science that says lifting weights is going to make this condition worse.
Precisely.
Yeah.
You know, and like, yes, of course you need to be careful, but I would argue that you need to be careful doing yoga as well. Like yoga is also not free, right? Like you are still putting in effort. You can still be injured. And worst of all, you might just not like it.
Yeah.
You know, and you should have a kind of other options. And I think that, yeah, like it's something that makes me kind of angry. Not that I'm specifically angry at yoga. Like, of course, if you enjoy doing yoga, then you should do yoga. But that should be kind of the blanket advice given to women, whether they're suffering with endometriosis like me, or they're just kind of trying to get into some kind of exercise routine and they're coming back from possibly obesity. They're trying to address some kind of body weight issue. Then they're told that they should kind of go for gentle walks and do kind of a gentle yoga session. Okay, yoga is expensive. Like actually really expensive. I've never been into a yoga class where I felt was body inclusive. And you know, that could be me just choosing poor yoga classes. This is not necessarily good advice for everybody. You know, and we know that as we age, for instance, women are at risk of losing kind of bone density, and that lifting weights is useful. in that regard.
Absolutely.
So to tell a woman, I'm currently 44 years old, so to tell a woman at 44 that because she's suffering from endometriosis that she shouldn't lift weights, it's like, how do you balance that? You have no evidence that lifting weights is going to cause my endometriosis to get worse,
Hmm.
right? But on the contrary, you have a lot of evidence that says that lifting weights as you go through perimenopause and menopause will benefit bone density.
Absolutely.
So
And
like
your mental health. If you
mental health.
enjoy it, then you should be able to continue doing it and building up. One thing is, of course, if you've never lifted before and you do
No,
have a condition like endometriosis, you will not start at a 100-kilo deadlift,
no,
obviously, right?
no.
There are ways to ease into whatever sport or activity that you enjoy.
Yeah,
I just, like you said, we want to talk about things that are inclusive,
yeah.
right? And also bring the science behind it so that you don't feel limited to do things that you actually don't enjoy simply because that's really the only advice that's out there.
Yeah, and I think that, we will talk a little bit in later episodes, we'll talk a little bit more about kind of medical gaslighting, specifically related to women's health issues, obviously, but in terms of this kind of getting advice from a medical doctor to perform a specific kind of physical activity when the evidence isn't there for benefit or harm, you're kind of in this weird position where you don't necessarily know any better yourself. And then what do you do? Like, do you have to then just kind of change your exercise patterns or your exercise habits around what this person has told you and they don't know what you enjoy, or maybe you don't know what you enjoy? But to be kind of restricted in this way, I don't think it's good medical advice. I'm not a medical doctor. I can't give medical advice, but I don't think that telling somebody that they should move in a particular way that they don't enjoy and possibly aren't going to do to the exclusion of another form of exercise that they do enjoy and that they could just simply do that at a lower intensity possibly, or in kind of a different modified form, like, do that. I follow a lot of aerial artists, especially online. I did pole dancing for a while, so that's something I really enjoy watching. And one of the things I've noticed is as the people that I follow are kind of getting older and having children and going through their own challenges, how they adapt their exercise is not to stop doing the thing that they enjoy doing, but to adapt the movement
Yeah,
to
modify.
accommodate
Yeah.
their body. And I feel like there isn't enough kind of spoken about that for kind of just women who are just trying to get by day to day, trying to stay fit or get fit, trying to kind of maintain their health. We
Hmm.
all want to be kind of fit, healthy, older people.
Hmm.
So in that kind of drive, you have to be accommodating of how that person wants to move long term,
Hmm.
right? Like if you're going to live to be what the kind of average age expectancy in Denmark is now, like 84 or 86 or something like that. If you want to be a fit, healthy 84, 86-year-old woman, then you're going to want to move your body in a way that you really enjoy it, because that's a long time to
Hmm.
be doing gentle walks and gentle yoga if you don't like doing gentle walks and gentle yoga,
Yeah.
right? Like if you would rather be riding your bicycle, which is something people here, of course, enjoy. We live in Denmark.
Hmm.
Or if you would prefer to be going for, I don't know, beach runs or whatever it is that you're really passionate, you want to be a boxer, great, do that. And I would like for this to be a place where we can kind of talk about, like, what are your options and what do we actually know,
Hmm.
right?
I mean, there is no one size fits all solution when it comes to your health or your fitness. We're all individuals. As a personal trainer, I am so fortunate to be able to work with so many different types of people.
Yeah.
And I see it every day that a workout that might be beneficial to one person will not be beneficial to you
No.
simply because we are so different. And that's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
And so it's important that no matter what, that you know that there is no quick fix and there is no
No.
one size fits all cookie cutter solution.
No. And if
Um,
anybody's telling you that there is, they are lying
they are
and they're
lying.
selling you something.
And there's no wrong way to enjoy your fitness.
No.
You don't have to go to a gym. You don't have to be
No.
doing one specific type of thing. It's about what you enjoy. And what I always say, the best fitness is what you will actually do consistently for
Precisely.
the rest of your life. Because as long as you're
Precisely.
moving, as long as it makes you happy, as long as you're
Yeah.
getting your heart rate up and you're actually enjoying it, you will continue to do it for the rest of your life. And that is really where health is wealth.
For sure, and also in doing that, you often find other people who enjoy doing the same things you enjoy,
Hmm.
and that connection is also really important for your health.
Mhm.
Having kind of strong interpersonal connections with people inside your family, outside of your family, these things are really, really important for your mental health and your physical health long term. So definitely doing some kind of movement that you enjoy puts you in contact with other people who enjoy doing that movement. And we're going to talk a lot about gym because that's, of course, what we enjoy doing.
Mhm.
But I think it's important for people to kind of read words like gym and lifting weights in whatever activity they like to do.
Mhm.
And finding other people who enjoy doing that activity is going to improve your health, improve the likelihood that you will continue to do that, and increase that consistency. And that, yeah, it's all good when we were seeking out like kind of health and fitness to kind of go forward in a way that you recognize that your body enjoys doing that, right? And I think that a lot of advice is kind of given in a way where they don't take into account that enjoyment factor, or that this person is actually living a whole complete life, right? Like they have a whole number of other issues and stuff that they need to address daily, and that
Absolutely.
this isn't their only focus, right? So
Yeah.
it also has to fit into having kids, having a full-time job, dealing with some kind of chronic health issue, or dealing with somebody else's chronic health issue. There are a lot of things that women are dealing with kind of day to day that we don't necessarily always see, and certainly aren't accounted for often in kind of
Mhm.
advice that's given to them online.
Exactly. We're not all full-time athletes, or
No.
we don't all have several hours a day to use on going to the gym or going to a certain activity.
Yeah.
So it really is about what works for you, your lifestyle, your time,
Yeah.
and what makes you happy. Your mental health is
Is
super
health
important. If there's
also?
one thing that I feel well, that I definitely am gonna delve into as our episodes progress, it's really about appreciating your body. Like, I know self-love is a term that's thrown out there, and
Hmm.
like, but I mean, to appreciate your body for what it does, and to not go into necessarily a certain type of activity simply out of the point of view of aesthetics because they're
No.
telling you that this is what your body should look like,
Yeah.
but to do something because of what it feels like to you.
Yeah.
That it feels good to move your body, and that it feels good, that you feel good mentally, you feel happy and you feel
Yeah.
satisfied, and most importantly, you feel strong and healthy when you're done with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, like you said, from there comes consistency.
Yeah.
And from consistency leads to a long life of good health, one
Mm-hmm.
should hope, right? Yeah, I completely agree. But, I think that in terms of what we aim to do here is to provide a platform where we can talk about literally anything which is related to women's health and fitness. And like I said, we will probably frame things largely around gym and strength training because that's what we enjoy doing. And I hope that anybody listening will kind of read that in the right way, that we're
Yes.
not kind of intending to prescribe
Or
weightlifting to
narrow
every.
it down to
No,
just that.
like you should do you. If you want to do kind of, endurance
Absolutely.
swimming, then, I'm
Yeah.
not going to be doing that, but it's great that you want to. That's
Yes.
fine. So I think that it's really kind of our focus, I guess, is on staying strong and fit and healthy for as long as you possibly can, and
Mm-hmm.
in kind of conjunction with whatever other challenges that are thrown your way, whether it's like I said, a kind of a chronic illness that you're having to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be able to talk about those things. Women are frequently hit by chronic illness, and it's not necessarily always addressed in the best possible way health wise, because medicine just hasn't really caught up to a lot of those conditions yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, we want to talk about things which are maybe a little bit difficult for people to talk about, and whether that's talking about menstrual cycle and how that affects your health and fitness long term, how going through perimenopause and menopause might be a kind of a barrier to maintaining health and fitness. We want to be the ones to talk about
Yeah.
those things.
Endometriosis, your personal story
Endometriosis,
with that, but also there's so many women across the world that are dealing with this
yeah,
issue.
10%
Yeah.
conservatively.
And many other conditions. We're basically going to try to go down a long list of topics that we find interesting, but we're
Yeah,
also super interested in hearing from you guys out there because we would love to talk about the things that you deal with that matter to you.
absolutely. Or the things that you're dealing with and you just feel that you can't talk about it to anybody. We would love to be the ones to talk about it. And then you can always take the podcast to a person you want to speak to and just play it to them and see how they respond.
Yeah, there you
Right?
go.
You don't even need to address it as something that's you're dealing with yourself. You can just say, "Well, what do you think of this taboo topic?" But we would like to be the ones to chat about it.
Absolutely. So to wrap things up, thank you so much for joining us on our first episode. We are so excited to get
Super
started.
psyched.
So, this is basically what you can expect to hear from us, and we will be back very soon with another hot topic.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, tell your friends, and follow us on Instagram at Strong Chatty Chicks.
Stay strong.
Stay chatty.
Bye.
Bye.